Happy crafternoon, everyone. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. Today we're going to have some fun because I'm going to show you a technique that, for me, it was mind-blowing, and I don't know why I haven't used it all the way up until now. It's just one of those things that hit me, and I tried it, and it worked so well, and I couldn't wait to share it with you today. We're also going to be using the brand new Sweet Celebrations card kit, and we're going to be making a fun birthday card of sorts, so I think this is like the perfect set to use this technique on. However, you can use it on any dies that you have in your collection. But before we get started today, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy crafternoon delight.
How are you?
I'm better than horrible today and loving the sunshine while we have it.
I know, right? But it was chilly today. I actually had to put a sweater on today.
Yeah, it's Wisconsin. We're still... I almost got down, I don't know if it did, down to freezing.
There was frost on
the
grass this morning. Yeah. Yeah, it's not time to plant yet, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But you never know. Tomorrow could be 80, right? It's
Yes.
Wisconsin, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have a word of the day for later?
I have a word of the day, yes.
Oh, okay, good. Because everybody, on release party night was like, word of the day, word of the day. And so I'm sure everybody is ready. I know I am.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Tom, you're going to love this technique. I know it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I saw a little bit of it, and all I could remember saying is, how did you do that?
I know, right? It's so cool. And when everybody sees it, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit, once I show you what I'm going to do, I'll tell you a little bit about this technique and how this technique was actually invented, let's see, 24 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, by my daughter Rina. And for some reason, it never dawned on me to use it in card making. But the other day, I really needed something that I didn't have, and it reminded me of this. So let me show you the card that we're going to make today. We're going to do this card today. This is from the new Sweet Celebrations card kit, and we're going to make some lollipops today. But I want to show you, can you see the shine? Now, I know there's shine in the background, and we're not going to do the poly glaze part of this. Instead, we're going to stamp a background today because I have a poly glaze video coming up, and I'm going to use this one in that. But can you see the little bit of shine here on this lollipop? And can you see the shine? I don't know if you could see it on the white. Can you see that white shine, Tom?
Not so much.
Not so much. Okay. Well, it's super shiny in real life. And so...
I wonder why.
I don't know. It's the lighting in here. Like, we have it set up to not glare, so then, when we want it to glare, it won't glare. I don't know if... let me see if I can put a little flashlight on it. I don't even think that'll show it. But you could see the shine there, right, on that one?
Yes.
Well, the white shines the same way, so maybe I won't use white cardstock. But when you do this technique, you can do it with white, and you'll see how pretty and shiny it is. So anyway, a lot of people were asking me how I got the shine. And so there's several different ways that you can get shine like this. One way is you could take some embossing ink and you can press the ink all over the cardstock and then use embossing powder on it and then die cut it out of that. But it won't look that smooth because embossing powder sometimes has a little bit of a dimply look to it when it's all done. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can use something like glossy accents, which is kind of a thick coating, right? You can do that. Or you can buy glossy cardstock. But I'm going to show you today how to use simple packing tape. Now, my daughter Rina, 25 years ago, when she was a little girl, used to sit in my craft room with me and say to me, "Mommy, I want to make shiny paper." And so I would give her rolls of Scotch tape, and she would put the tape all over her cardstock, and then she would cut the edges off and make it into shiny paper. But using this heavy-duty packing tape just makes it super crisp, super clean. You can have any color you want based on whatever cardstock you have. You can also ink blend on your cardstock first and let it dry, and then you can have a kind of a ink blended shine. And the nice thing about it is it dries instantly, right? Because there's nothing to dry, and you don't have to worry at all about dimples in it from embossing powder or just waiting for glossy accents to dry. So packing tape is the ticket. All right, so what I'm going to do is this packing tape is about 2 inches. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a 2-inch piece of cardstock here, maybe just a little bit bigger, some hot pink cardstock, and then I'll cut a piece of bubblegum pink cardstock the same way. Guys, this is, I mean, you can do this with stuff you have at home. Everybody has a roll of tape at home. Now, one of the girls at work here, Kristen, said that she has like some kind of tape that like has like a frosted finish to it, and she could make frosted cardstock. And I said, that's awesome. So I'm going to take a little bit of this packing tape, and I'm just going to put it right over this little piece of passionate pink cardstock. Now I am going to trim just the end off here because I don't want it to stick to my die cutting machine.
And a question.
Yes.
Does the adhesive gum up the die?
No, not at all. Haven't had any problem. I was doing it like I did a million of them, and not at all. So I'm going to take something like, this is our stencil pal, but at home I used a credit card. You can use your driver's license. You can use a gift card, whatever you have. And you just want to press out any of the little air or anything, and just make sure that it's really tight on there, because it will die cut better if it's really tight on there and not loose. So you can see now I've got that shiny look to the paper, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try not to tear off quite as much here, because I really don't need that much. And this is our bubblegum pink. So hopefully this one will be able to be seen as well. Some colors show up really great on the camera, but some colors don't. Like white for some reason. Let me do a piece of white and see if we can get it to shine. And this is so fun to do with die cut words. You can do this with other dies that you have in your collection. You could do it on a full rectangle and then have like a glossy edges around your cardstock. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see the white, I don't know. You could see the shine on the white here. Maybe it's because it's such a small little design there that it's hard to catch the shine. Plus I've got so much other shine, but I think you could see it a little bit when I cast my shadow on it a little bit. You can see it glossing in there.
Yes.
Yeah, so the white looks amazing glossy. I mean, think of white words, like white, like shadow dies when you have the word in shadow, where you could have that white glossy word on there. And no drying, right? No mess. If you're not a person that likes gooey things and sticky stuff to work with, no mess at all. All right, so we're going to cut out a bunch of little things to make our lollipops. And I'm going to use this new set, the Sweet Celebrations. Now, what's fun about this set is you can make like candy for Halloween. You could make candy for Christmas. You could do red and white candy for Christmas, and you can do orange and black candy for Halloween. Could you put it in your fuse to get the air bubbles out? Yes, you can. Just put it on setting 0 so there's no heat, because I don't think you want to make it any sticky or anything like that. Just put it on 0 and run it through. Because I don't know if like this kind of tape is like heat resistant, but 0 is just pressure, no heat. So if you have the fuse, you can do that. And I love this die set. So I'm going to get the dies that I need for the lollipops. I also think that just candy is so fun for Valentine's Day. You could make these for the kids' classrooms. Let's see, what else do we have? So we're going to use these particular dies. We're going to use the 2 hearts to make the heart lollipop. We're going to use the 2 circles, the regular circle and the swirl. And then we're going to use the bow, and we're going to use the stick so we can make a little stick for our lollipops, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting here first. Let's get this going. Okay, am I missing anything, Tom? Oh, I'm missing a lot. I want to show you this one. I just cut a thanks and shadow die, and look at the shine on that. It's just with red cardstock. And the thing that makes it look so much like, you can make your own enamel dots, right? Just find some really small circle dies. And what's really fun about it is when the die cuts it with a curve around the edge, right? It's not just a cut like you would cut with scissors or a paper cutter. Dies have that innate ability to kind of curve over the edge and make it look so finished. So if you do it with tiny little circles, some of our old die sets, I've got I have circle dies in our spring forest, I think it is, die set that was all like the little birds and the birdhouses, and it was all spring things from last spring. That has a couple little circle dies in it, and you can make your own enamel dots in any color that you want. So you could perfectly match your cardstock and perfectly match your ink, and you don't have to try to find things that work. All right, so we're gonna cut 2 bows. Oh no.
It looks so much better than packing tape that you would never think of it.
Right? It does. Okay, so I'm going to turn my die cutting machine up just a little bit, because one of the things that I noticed is, you know, sometimes the whole thing doesn't cut through. So if you can tighten up your die cutting machine, if you're not using an intercut, just add a shim just to make it a little bit tighter. And then I'm going to run this through, but before, and I heard it crunch, but before I finish, I'm going to flip it upside down. Yes, a hole punch would work, Debbie. You could try this with all of your punches and stuff. Absolutely.
And how about with the Cricut?
You know, I don't have a Cricut, so I don't know for sure. If you have like a blade that you want to dedicate to this, because it might gum up the blade a little bit just because it's dragging. But I mean, I would definitely try it. If you can, you know, maybe have an older blade and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to change the blade anyway, I'm going to give this technique a try. I would try it. I would think it would work. Okay, so I'm going to pop this out. And look at this. Look at the cute little bow, and it's all glossy. I want to see if I can put it in front of something that will reflect a little bit of light. I don't know if you can see the gloss on that. You can see the glossy shine. See it? Isn't that so cute? And look how nice it cuts. It cuts so beautifully. I'm telling you, you have to do this. Just promise me you'll give it a try, because I can't show you on this screen how good this looks in person. You just can't see it. No matter how close up I get, you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to cut 2 of these. Are your creative juices just flowing now and thinking of all of the ways that you can add that little bit of shine to things? You know, maybe you have flower dies and you want to just add the center die of that flower to be shiny instead of flat like the rest of the cardstock. Just so many ways that you can use this technique. Okay, so now we've got 2 little bows for our lollipops. 2 little glossy, cute bows. This bow is really cute too. This, you know, don't forget to cut out a bunch of extra bows like this, and then anytime you're doing little floral arrangements that have stems, you can pop a little extra bow, and you can make it glossy too, and it will really shine and be so cute. So I love this bow for a lot of things, not just these lollipops, but look, I have little glossy raindrops here. I could make a glossy flower off to the side with my little glossy petals from the, that's so cute. Oh my goodness.
Question from Donna. She wants to know, can we laminate cardstock and die cut it?
I would think you probably could. Laminating stuff is a lot thicker than packing tape. So you might struggle a little bit getting the die to sink down. If you've ever felt the laminating pouches, they're so much thicker than a thin piece of tape. So when you add this little thin piece of tape on there, you're not really increasing the thickness of the cardstock by very much at all. But you know, if you have a laminating pouch and you want to try it, I would say give it a try and see what you get. You might just need a lot more pressure on your die cutting machine to get a clean edge.
And what setting did you set the intercut to?
I set it to the -2, so just tightened it a little bit. Probably the equivalent of maybe adding a piece of cardstock. Look at that. See how clean it is on the edges? It's so clean. You can see the difference in the plain cardstock on the back. No shine, kind of dull, right? But this side is just so shiny and cute. Okay.
Technical question. Purchase the intercut magnetic platform, but dies still move. What is the correct sandwich?
So you want to use the big platform, the magnetic mat, your cardstock, your die, and then the clear plate on top. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a big heart out in bubblegum pink. So I'm doing bubblegum pink and passionate pink. Now, of course, you could do, you know, all kinds of different color combinations for these lollipops, but I'm going to stick with some pinks today. Okay. And then you can see how cute these layer together. And when you have that matte cardstock up against that shiny cardstock, it just makes it pop a little bit more. Okay. So now I'm going to use a plain piece of passionate pink, not one that has the tape on it. And I'm going to cut a circle in plain passionate pink.
And Melissa wants to know, does it work in a 3D folder? That sounds tricky.
Oh, I don't know. I would think it would. That would be something really fun to try. That's a good suggestion. Yeah. So I'm going to cut a white spiral circle, and I'm going to cut a bubblegum pink spiral circle with the shiny paper on it, because I don't know which one is going to show better. But I'm going to cut both, and we can kind of decide. So let me cut a pink one. Now this one, because it's a little bit more intricate, I'm going to flip this over after I've cut it once. Yeah, the tape paper on the embossing folder will probably be very cool. And then I'm going to do it a second time. I find laminating paper a little difficult to cut as well. I also find acetate a little bit difficult to cut unless, and here's my little tip for cutting acetate, use a piece of regular cardstock underneath of it, and that helps. I don't know why it helps, but it helps a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to try to pull this out. It's not that it's hard to get out, it's that they're connecting. You see, they love to connect to each other. Here we go. Now, let me show you something else too. You can, okay, so this is the little shiny swirly thing. Oh, you could see the shine really well on that. And that's gonna look so cute on this lollipop background, on that plain circle. But you can always take a pair of scissors here, and every time you cut one of these, just cut off this little piece right here. and just save these because you can use them on other things. You can make cute little backgrounds with that, and if it's shiny, you know, you could have another one here that has like a smaller one in the center if you want it to look a little bit different. But I always keep these little things because that little negative design is cute. All right, I'm going to cut a white one now. Oh, this is so fun, you guys. When I did it the first time, I thought, okay, well, I called Rina right away. I FaceTimed her and I said, you remember when you were a little girl and you made the shiny paper? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I made shiny paper too with my die cuts. And I showed her and she was like, oh, that's so cute. That's so fun. But who'd have thought, right? A little 4-year-old, 3-year-old. I think she was 3 at the time. 3-year-old came up with this idea all those years ago. I think I remember Rina talking about it in a video that we made together, and she told everybody about it, and some people did try it, but I don't know why I didn't put it together like as a really fun technique to do with die cuts. Okay, I'm just pulling this apart. It's the tape on this one. And I think it's something about the fact that this is our super smooth layering weight cardstock that makes me struggle a little bit getting it apart. But here we go. I think you can see the shine on that. Yeah, you can see that shine.
And Connie suggested using it on rubber boot stamps.
Oh, yeah, on rubber boot, like a rubber boot die even. You could. That's another thing that you could do. You could stamp the boots, and then you could put the shiny paper on top, and then you can die cut the boots out so you'd get that shine, but still all the details coming through underneath. That's a great idea.
Or the dies, yeah.
Or the dies, or rubber boot dies, yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to get a piece of craft paper and I'm going to cut out 2 tiny sticks. Now these are very, very small dies. The reason why I like using the die as opposed to just slicing a little bit of cardstock is because it does look like a stick. In fact, when I showed the samples to some of the people that I work with here, they were like, did you use like a toothpick for that? Or how did you make the stick? Because the rounded edge makes it look more 3-dimensional. But if you don't want to cut it, you don't have to cut it. Now the reason I'm putting tape on here, and this is just masking magic, I suggest you put masking magic on a die like this because it's so tiny that it could slip down into any die cutting machine and then it'll be gone forever. So anytime you have a super, 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 super tiny die, just do it with a little bit of tape on it to hold it in place so that you don't lose it.
Oh, we have a rogue word of the day sighting from Polly.
We do?
She said, question, if you use multiple types and colors of ink, is it more intricate?
Oh my gosh, a word of the day in the wild. I love it.
Intricate.
Intricate. That's awesome.
Love, love, love.
That's great. All right, I'm cutting out one more stick. And I'll tell you, if you like to make these kinds of little designs, these little die cut designs like I do, sometimes I'll just sit with my mini Intracut and I will just cut tons of these. I have a whole little chewing gum container of pieces, bits and pieces that I cut out from this die set just because, I don't know, like I was just kind of wanting to do something with my hands while we were watching a movie, and it was just a great thing to do. So there we go. There's our little stick. I did craft because it looks more stick-like, but in reality, most of the lollipops that I see are white. They have white sticks, so you could certainly do a white stick as well. Okay, so now we've got all our little bits and pieces cut out, And the next thing we're going to cut out is one of the picture frames. So we're going to use the Picture Perfect stamps die set, and we're going to use this one that has two frames. And we're going to cut that out with some black cardstock. But I want to show you one little tip that you can do if you want more frames, okay? So let me go ahead and cut this one out first. I'm just trying to read the questions too. You want me to try running it through an embossing folder? All my embossing folders are in the other room. I don't have any here to try it with. I would have to leave and go out and get an embossing folder, but I am going to try it with an embossing folder, and I want you guys to try it too. Just take a tiny piece of it, like whatever's left over, and just run it through like a 2D embossing folder and see what kind of look you get. It just, I don't know, with the shine, it's almost like it's juicy, you know? It just looks so cool. All right, so here's my frame. Now, let me see, should I cut out two? I think I'm going to cut out two of these frames, because I'm going to stack them so that there's a little bit of dimension there without having to pop the whole thing up. Oh, thank you. You know where I got my sweater? I got my sweater on an unbelievable deal. So, any of you guys ever go to Talbot? Talbot's has beautiful clothes, but they are super expensive. So I always window shop in Talbot's. But I passed an outlet mall and I saw a Talbot's outlet. And I went to the outlet, and they, in the back of the store, they had all the clearance items, and they had sweaters. And I found this sweater. This sweater was marked at $99.95. And I got this sweater for $14. $14, guys, on clearance at Talbot Outlet. So that's my little tip. And the reason why I like looking at Talbot's, I rarely buy anything. I'm going to cut that again. I rarely buy anything just because it's a little bit out of my price range. A little bit. A lot of it out of my price range. But I like it because it has petite clothing, and I'm a petite. So it's hard for me to find shirts that like come to the right spot. Sometimes they're so long on me, they look like a dress. So I always look, and I always like, maybe someday if they have a sale or whatever. I don't know why I'm not able to cut this one. Let me see. It might be that my die cutting plate is warped enough in that one spot that it's making it difficult, but I'll just turn it in this direction and I'll flip it upside down, and that'll take care of it. So if you ever pass Talbot's Outlet, go head right to the back of the store and check out the prices on those things, and you won't believe it. I mean, that's cheaper than like Target and Walmart even. So it was kind of fun. So that's where I found this sweater. They might still have them because I just found it recently. This is the time of the year to buy sweaters at Talbot because it's going into summer. But in Wisconsin, we're still right in the right weather patterns. Now I just want to show you something before I do any more die cutting. So if you want to extend this, right, all you have to do is take your paper cutter and just put this line right here, this line right up to the edge of your die cutting, or of your paper cutter, right up to the edge. And you can feel it when it's right up to the edge. You can feel it like touch the edge there. And then do it up at the top so that you've got it, you know, you've got it right up against the top so you know it's straight. I'm going to go on the inside edge there. And then See, I cut that, and you can just line that up perfectly onto your card, and you can make a slimline card then that has 3 openings for images. So you could pop a cupcake, a piece of cake, and a candy, and you could do a longer card like that. So if you want the 3 strips, even if you're doing scrapbooking and you have 3 small pictures, I used to do that when I was scrapbooking. I would take like one main picture of, let's say, Alicia playing lacrosse or Rina playing soccer. The best picture, I would blow that one up and make it big on the page. But then I would put 3 little action shots off to the side, and it just makes such a nice layout that way. So if you want to use these frames for scrapbooking, that's a way that you can increase the size of this frame and have it longer for both slimline cards and also for scrapbook pages. Okay, so now I'm going to cut one more of those in white because I need the 2 little white centers. I don't want to be crooked here on the screen. That could drive somebody nuts like me. It's probably still a little crooked, but better than horrible. And now I'm going to get a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to cut that die out using this white cardstock. Okay. Then we're going to create our background before we die cut it out, because I don't want the stamp to miss the areas that are in the stitched areas of the die. And what I mean by that is once you die cut stitches into this, when you stamp it, it kind of skips, and sometimes it skips a little before the stitched mark and a little after the stitched mark, and it looks like parts of your image are missing. Where if you make your background first and then you die cut it, it'll look much better. Okay, let me get rid of this. How's everybody doing? Oh, it's so great to see all of you here. All right, now let's make a little background. I am going to cut this down a little bit before I actually stamp on it because I want it to be close to the size that I'm going to die cut it. So I'm going to use Master Layouts 2 with this. So I'm going to cut this down to the same size as Master Layouts 1, which would be 3 3/4 inch by 5 inches. And that just helps me determine where to put my images. I don't want to have like this perfect pattern and then end up cutting it so that it doesn't look so good. So let's just grab a little piece of cardstock here just to kind of protect the tabletop. And then I'm going to get 2 acrylic blocks. I don't know where my baby block went. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. I have lost my tiny little block, my little 1.5 by 1.5. Well, I'll have to get a new one, I guess, but I'll use this one for now. Now, the stamp set that I'm going to use to make my background is this one. This is the Birthday Sprinkles. This also, everything I'm using here comes in the card kit. So this comes in the card kit. Now, these little greetings are so cute because there's a die set that cuts these out, and then you can pop those up on one of these sticks, and you can have a little happy birthday or a little it's your birthday coming out of the top of the cupcake or coming out of the top of the cake. So these sticks are good for that too. And if you have different greetings in your collection that you want to use, you can pop those up on a stick by die cutting them out and then just popping those in. So maybe you have a little happy retirement, or it's your shower or baby shower, whatever you want. You can pop that into a cake or a cupcake and add that using one of these sticks as well. And then these little designs here are actually meant to fill in the slices of cake from this die set, which are, let me find it here. Where'd the die set packaging go? Which are these pieces right here. They fit right in there to decorate that a little bit and make it look like sprinkles, but you can also use these as part of the background. This could be a falling streamer, right? So these could be falling little bits of confetti. This could be a little falling streamer, even though this is meant to decorate the candle. So there's lots of ways to use this. But I'm going to start with these big ones, and I'm going to pick some coordinating colors here. So I think I'm going to use Wild Lilac because that's the color card base I want to use on this card. On my original card that I showed you, I used Turquoise Sea, and I'll bring that back out again. But I'm going to use Wild Lilac, and then I'm going to use Bubblegum Pink. I'll use Passionate Pink, and maybe I'll use one more color, like maybe I'll use Wild Wisteria. So we'll keep this in the pinks and purple kind of theme going. So I'll start with Wild Lilac. And let me move my bits and pieces here. I'm going to stamp this up. We're going back to old-fashioned stamping with an acrylic block. But I love using acrylic blocks to make backgrounds. The thing that you have to remember to get a good impression is just to actually give it a second to allow the color to transfer to your cardstock. Sometimes with acrylic blocks, I pull up too fast. And when you pull up really fast on it, sometimes the ink hasn't fully had a chance to transfer. Clear glitter on tape? I bet that would look amazing. I bet that would look really cool. Yeah, you should try that for sure. And then also, you could even do, like you just said, clear glitter on tape, but then you could cut it as a strip, and you could make just shiny glittery strips that just kind of go across the center of your cardstock. All right, so I'm doing like 5 spots, but I'm not doing them perfectly. I still want this to look like a random pattern. So like here, I'm coming down here a little bit, and I'm going to come up on this side a little bit, and that'll make it just appear a little bit more random. Okay, it won't be so perfectly organized. Oh, thank you, Jackie. What a sweet comment. I appreciate that so much. I'm glad you're learning lots of techniques. You know, it's so fun because anytime I think of anything, I just can't wait to get here and tell you guys and show you guys. And then you guys teach me too, because I see all your suggestions in the comments too, just like all the ideas people had today for like using it with embossing folders and adding glitter and all of that stuff. So very, very fun. Okay, we all encourage each other. So now I'm going to do one here, little overlap. I'm going to do one up here, overlap here, do one up here, and one kind of over here like that. Maybe I'll do one over here too. Just coming in off the side like that. Okay. Ooh, I think I'll put one up here too. Don't forget to like stamp off the edges a little bit. Like that, to kind of make things look a little bit more like complete, like real pattern paper goes off the page. Now I'm going to add another one of these, but I'm going to use Bubblegum Pink for this one. So this is a much lighter pink. So we'll just overlap a little bit here. And we'll just put one in here. Just a couple of these. I don't need to do a ton of them. That's pretty good. I'll stop there. And then I'm going to add some of these other little bits and pieces to fill in. So we've got this little streamer one. And it's not really a streamer. Like I said, this was intended when I designed this set to be just a squiggle for the candles, but I kind of like the way it feels to kind of have these all over the place. They feel like streamers just falling. And remember to turn as you go so that everything is not all like on an angle. You definitely want to turn a little bit, have things going in different directions. You overlap for sure. one over here like that. We'll stop there. Yeah, these colors are fun together. I do always want to add a green. I don't know what it is about green, but I always want to add a green to everything. I don't think I'll add a green. I want to kind of add more things though. Okay, so this one is supposed to be like ticker tape, you know, like falling confetti that you see on New Year's Eve. But it would really be nice if I had a smaller block for this. I definitely need to find my smaller block. I'll do this one in Passionate Pink. Yeah. It'd be nice to have a smaller block, because the scary part is if you get ink on the block and you like shift the block. So definitely consider a much smaller block for this. Put one down here. This is so fun. This is just really, again, getting back to the basics. And we've been talking a lot about going back to SIP stamping with just stamps, ink, paper, SIP, stamps, ink, paper, SIP. And we forget sometimes that we can do that. You know, we have all the fancy tools, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I love my Misty. I couldn't live without my Misty. I'm going to do a star next. And I'm doing Wild Wisteria for the stars. I couldn't live without my Misty. But sometimes it is fun just to pick up an acrylic block and just remind yourself of what it used to feel like when you would stamp. And don't worry, because like even with something like this, if you mess something up or it doesn't look perfect, we're still going to be putting stuff on top of this. This is just background paper that we're making on our own. So we can cover it with an embellishment or cover it with something. Okay, so this is getting very fun, isn't it? Just super fun. Fun, fun, fun. Now, this little one is just like a little curly Q. Let me stamp it and just show you what it looks like. I don't know if I want to do it in this color, but I'll just stamp it on the back of this. See, it kind of looks like a little curly Q. I think I'll do this in, maybe I'll do this in Wild Lilac. I did it in one card with black, and it looked really good with black. So you can always do that as well if you want to add just a pop of black into your cards, to your backgrounds. I think this is pretty much busy enough. I don't feel any areas that aren't filled in enough. So that feels good. So we can make our own background party paper like that. You can also do it with embossing powder if you wanted to add a little bit of shine to it. Or you could put tape over the whole thing, I guess, if we wanted, right? We could use that technique. But I think I really like that idea that somebody suggested of using an embossing folder with that clear technique. I think that would be super fun. It would be neat for 4th of July in red, white, and blue. Absolutely, this stamp set would be perfect for that. Perfect for that. All right, so I'm going to use Master Layouts 2 for this, and I'm going to cut this out using the stitched die. And I am going to turn it a little bit on an angle because it does cut better when you have it on an angle. And you can see I barely have any room to mess up here. So I am going to use a little bit of Masking Magic just to hold that die in place so it doesn't shift on me. If you're uncomfortable with just one piece, you certainly could add 2 pieces. Send it through again just to be safe. Okay, so I didn't need to do that. I can see how deep that cut. That's all right. That'd be a fun frame to use for something else. Oh, but sometimes you can get so crazy and you've got scraps all over the place. So now my stitches are in there and you can see the stitches along the edge, but because I stamped it first, like that design right there definitely would have left white spots around the stitches. It would have been hard because you can't really stamp deep into something once it's dented in. That's why I like to stamp first, because it just makes it look a little bit more polished and finished.
So what did I ask you before you started? Do you remember? And some people are asking the same question. Are you going to make something to match your top?
Oh, honestly, it does kind of match, doesn't it? It kind of matches some of the colors in my top. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I didn't do it on purpose. That's exactly what Tom asked too. I didn't do it on purpose. That happened the other day too, right? With the blues and the greens.
Yes.
I must get in a mood, right? I wake up in the morning and I'm in the mood for pinks and purples, or I'm in the mood for greens and blues. Ooh, see, that shifted a little bit. Did it shift all the way off? Let me see. No, we made it. Look at that thin. See this right here? See that? That's how thin my patience is on most days at work. Right there. But we made it.
All kinds of things overlapping here today and happening in the background. And
all right, so I'm going to do the greeting last because I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I want to get started on this assembly, but I have to add a little bit of ink blending to these squares. Okay, so I'm going to just put these squares here on my sticky mat. These are the squares that would normally fall out of the frame, and if I had just done these frames in white, I would have only had to cut these, but I had to cut an extra one. So I have an extra white frame here that I can use for another project. I've got bits and pieces everywhere already. Okay, so I'm going to do some little clouds, just because clouds are just one of the things that always feels good to me. It doesn't, I mean, it might not make sense with candy, but it might. I mean, when I think of candy and cupcakes and all that other stuff, I kind of think of happy and being outside as a kid, so I think this will work. And I'm going to use some sea glass ink with my trusty ink stand. Brianne Loveland, I see you in the chat. Would you please link your ink stand for everybody who doesn't have one yet? Because they need one. They need more than one. That would be awesome. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Brianne is actually, I think she might even be there already, but if not, she's on her way to Create in Ohio. That's this week. Create this weekend. Unfortunately, I can't be there because I have all kinds of wedding stuff to do. But with my daughter, we actually have the final dress fitting this weekend, and I'm going to be trying to get my dress hemmed this weekend, and then we've got flowers that we're making and lots of things like that. So, but you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gently moving the stencil side to side to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm just letting the bristles flicker over the edge. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So Brianne, thank you for being here. I don't know if your hubby's driving and you're just doing this from your car, which blows my mind that she can even link things like that from her phone. But she's amazing. Brianne, you're amazing. I'm so sorry I can't hug you this weekend. But hug Mindy and Debbie for me in the Gina K booth, because they'll both be there. So if you're heading out to Create, make sure you stop by and say hi to Mindy Egan and our illustrator, Debbie Warner. She's going to be there too, and they are going to be hosting our Create It, Take It at Create this weekend. So That'll be super fun. Will I share a photo or two from the wedding? Of course I will. I would love to. Yes, I definitely will. We plan on having a lot of fun. We had the bachelorette party this weekend, and you know, it was so sweet that my daughter invited me and her future mother-in-law to her bachelorette party. You know, that doesn't always happen. We were definitely the two moms there all weekend, that's for sure. But we had so much fun with everybody. I felt like a kid. It was super fun. Okay, now I'm going to layer these two panels together. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me find some tape here. Oh no, do I not have tape? Do I not have tape? I think my tape runner is empty. It was very fun. The bachelorette party was very fun. We went down to the Chicago area and stayed in an Airbnb. And we went to medieval times, which was super fun. So for any of my Midwest friends who have never, if you're anywhere near Chicago and you've never been to medieval times, I've never been there. I live, 45 minutes, an hour away, and I've never been there. It was great, and the food was amazing. But they don't give you silverware. You eat everything with your hands, which is really funny, I guess, medieval times, right? But you have like a big chicken breast and drumstick, and then you have corn on the cob, and then you have a potato wedge and bread. It's very fun. We were all dressed up. Okay, so now I'm going to put this onto a wild lilac card base. I think that's going to be a really good color for this. We could also use wild wisteria if you want to see what that looks like. Here's wild wisteria. You can see the difference in that color on those two purples. One is a very red purple, that's this one, and one is a more blue purple, which is this one. Which one do you like better, Tom? This is wild wisteria, and this is wild lilac. Now remember, we're going with these pinks, so I kind of think this one, guys. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, this one looks a little too blue. It doesn't... This, because it's got more of the pink tone in it, this like kind of reddish pink in it, it's going to look better with the lollipops. Probably could have made a purple lollipop too, but we're going to deal with what we've already got here.
And yes, I do have a tux for the wedding. I actually own a tux, but it's not the same one we got married in. That's long since disintegrated.
Yeah, that would be...
Somewhere in a landfill.
That would have a few moths in it.
Oh my gosh. Had some then. I don't even remember where I got that. I think I maybe...
You probably got it at like a funeral home or something.
There's some one of those off the rack in the used tux place. Yikes. No, I've got a nicer one this time.
Yeah.
I have to get a blue bow tie, though.
Yeah, because I'm wearing blue. I'm wearing navy. Because Rina told me I should wear navy so I could be her something blue. Isn't that cute? That's so cute. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to get this piece of cardstock back because I know I'm going to get goobers all over everything. Gluey goobers. Let's zoom in. No, I'm not going to be a creativation, Bobby. No, not this year. No creativation for me. This has been a really kind of crazy year for our family with the wedding and everything. And so I've booked myself very lean this year. I think I need to recover after the wedding. Are you going? You going to Creativation, Bobby? Creativation is always such an amazing event. If you don't know what Creativation is, it's an industry event where manufacturers and companies like mine come together with retail stores, and the retail stores send buyers and they buy product for their retail stores and they get education from the different manufacturers on how to use their products. And there's a lot of designers that go, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I glued those two pieces together. Now I'm just going to put that aside. I really should have used our matte glue because I did get a little bit on there, and you can see that little bit of shine. Maybe you can't really see it here, but you can see it in real life. The Connect Matte is better for that kind of thing, but it's okay. I've got it here. I'm going to use what I have. So the first thing I'm going to do is adhere this shiny heart that we made with our new technique, our tape technique, and I'm going to put a little bit of Connect glue right on the back here. And I'm going to tape that onto this heart, glue that onto this heart. Let's get it where I want it. And press it down. There we go. So now we've got that cute little double heart. Now I'm going to put a little bit of Connect glue here on the back. And then I'm going to take one of these little sticks. And I'm going to lay that little stick on there as straight as I can. It's a really delicate little die. But there we have our stick on there. And now onto the stick, I'm going to put one of these little bows. So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right here on the back of the bow. And then I'm just going to press that bow onto the stick. Hold it there for just a second. More than a second, because that didn't work. My fingers are also a little sticky. See it? My fingers are sticky. Patience. Patience, patience. There we go.
Nice.
Isn't that cute? Let's see it a little better like that. And then we've got the bow and the heart on that bow are shiny and cute. Okay, so I'm going to just lay this down face down like that to allow all that glue to dry and it won't stick to the table. Now for this one, oh, I'm so tempted to use the white. You guys can see the shine, right? So I think you'll know it's shiny. Again, I gotta catch it in the light. There we go. You can see that it's nice and glossy. It really looks like white car paint, like enamel. Okay, so like I told everybody earlier, you know, we have these lights in the studio that don't glare on purpose, right? So that you can wear glasses and you can have other shiny things and it doesn't like mess up the camera. But when you want it to glare and shine, you don't get the full effect the way you do in real life. So I'm really excited for you guys to try this and to tell me what you think once you see it in real life in your own craft room. I'm dying to know what you think. How cute it is. So to push down on it a little bit because remember how I said everything curves over a little bit? Well, that kind of creates a little tunnel under there, so you got to kind of squeeze, or you could always use more Connect glue. I probably should have done that, but
Just heard we're short of packing tape in the shipping department. I don't know what the reason could be.
because I have it all. I have it all. I have all their tape. Yeah, this is the heavy-duty kind. I do like the heavy-duty kind better for this technique. It just feels a little bit sturdier, and it's a little bit... Rebecca used these as cookies instead of suckers? Really? Oh my gosh. I gotta go watch Rebecca's video. I saw that she posted it, and I haven't had a chance to watch any of the videos yet. And I'm so excited to watch them because there are so many great videos from the different designers. I have to tell you guys, these designers that are willing to help make these videos and share projects using our new release, they are such wonderful people. They're such a godsend to us, and we appreciate them so much. I hope that they know how much we love them and care, and how grateful we are for them, because they really make beautiful things for us, and they inspire me every bit as much as they inspire everybody. I'm blown away by what they come up with. And the fact that they, make time for us is so lovely.
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. Yes. Cinnamon rolls. That's a great idea. Watch my fingers stick to this.
That was Ellen. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
Now that we're all starving for cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls and...
Hey, do we have
cookies?
time for a word of the day?
Yes,
today?
let's do the word of the day while I'm fiddling with the bow.
Word of the day, oh hey, hooray, let's laugh it up, don't delay. Word of the
Where'd you
day,
go?
it's here to stay.
All right, there you are.
You know, if you wore your headphones, you'd know that we're waiting for the music.
Oh, it's right. I forgot about the music.
Okay, it's time for word of the day. Okay, so I've heard you say getting to the perfect card at times, the trash can get quite overwhelmed.
Yes.
And that's even more applicable to us beginners and people who are learning techniques, especially like coloring,
Sure.
where, you are learning a technique and you're not really good at it, so your cards may suffer a little bit in the beginning, and you have to work through some things. So in that case, the word of the day, you could end up with a card or two that's uncoordinary. It's an uncoordinary card. And bonus word of the day.
Uh-oh.
Especially with color blending, I've often, in my attempts, have taken a one-way ticket to Browntown.
That
So
that is yeah, we've all been to Browntown before.
back to the dead space.
Oh, that's so funny, Browntown. Yes, we've all been to Browntown. And for those of you who are maybe new to ink blending and stuff, that's when you blend colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, like a red and a green, or yellow and a purple, purple and orange, those kinds of colors. They always make a beautiful shade of brown when they blend together. Browntown. That's funny. Browntown Julie Brown. All right. So now I'm showing my age, my MTV age. So now I'm going to put this frame right here off to the side.
You don't hear those words together too often. A beautiful shade of brown.
Yeah, and you should, because brown is a beautiful color. I love brown. I have, cabinetry and woodwork and all of that. There are so many beautiful shades of brown. And I did some really, really pretty brown cards that are like sepia. So, okay, so now I've got that in there. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to I'm going to kind of paper piece my little cloud backgrounds in there. And this way see how busy this is. This is kind of it gets lost against all of those colors. But when you pop them in front of this, you can see it a lot better. So you could just use plain white too. You don't have to do all this fancy stuff if you don't want to. I'm going to use tape runner for this part. And just pop those in there. There's one. If you have to, you can always just get your nail in there, and we'll do another one. Oh yeah, brown with dark orange is gorgeous. Very autumny. I love the autumn colors when you were doing browns and autumn oranges and those deep mustard tones. Okay, so now we've got those on there. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop up these, and we're going to pop them up with some large foam squares, and then I'm going to create the smallest little dot of a foam square using one of these 1/4 inch foam squares. I'm just going to cut it in half and in half again. And then I'm going to put this little tiny dot right over where the stick and the bow come together, like that. And then we'll use one big one up here, and I'm going to put it right over, like, to seal the stick on. So that helps seal the stick and the bow together, and that helps seal the stick onto the lollipop part itself, and that will help prevent things from falling apart a little bit more, because it is a delicate design. Okay, and then this is just going to go right onto my card like this, and then pop that down there, and that holds everything in place. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to put this right here, just sealing that together, and then this little dot right here that I cut, this little square, I'm going to put that right over that, and that'll seal all of that up. That was a little big, that one. So can I take it back off? We'll see. Ooh, it's scary. Okay, all right. I'm going to cut a smaller one. You really need like a tiny little, something that's like smaller than any foam square that they actually make. Let's cut a new one. Let me just get rid of this. It's in the way. We'll cut a tiny one. Okay, this will be good. Save that for another card. I'll put that right there because we don't want it to show on the other side. I already peeled the thing off of that. And then this one's going to go in this direction right here, like this. And then we'll pop that down. There we go. So now we've got our two cute little lollipops on here. And then, I know I've been chatting a lot through this video and really taking my time. Honestly, it doesn't take quite so long to make this card. Now, if you want to, if you feel a little bit better about it, you could take a little bit of glue. I'm going to put it on my pick and stick tool, just a tiny little bit of glue, a little dot of glue on the end of my pick and stick tool. And I'm going to just run it underneath this stick here. And then I'm going to just tack that down just so it doesn't pop up. You could also tack these down if you want with whatever's left on there. This is just, you don't have to do this part, but if you want to do it, you can do it. I don't think I have enough glue there. I think I need more glue. Let's put a little more glue on my little bent pick and stick tool. I don't know what happened to that. I was really trying to pry something open with it, but we can always add a little bit of glue under there and tack it down.
You may have left it too close to my dental implements.
Yeah, probably. That's funny. And it's easy to clean the glue off of your pick and stick tool if you want to. I'll just take a paper towel and do that. But you see how that just like holds those tails down if you want to do it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. I'll do it to the other ones now since I did it to those, but put just a little on this. And you could also do this with little pieces of foam tape or foam squares if you want. Just hold it there for a second so it stays down. And then this one I'm going to do on the string of the ribbon, not on the end, because I just want to right there. And then I'll clean this off. I can hold that down for a second and kind of clean up my mess. There we go. There we go. So that kind of holds that down. This one popped up. There we go. If you let it dry for a minute or two before you actually press it down, it's less apt to pop back up because the glue gets more tacky and more sticky as it dries, and it enables you to put it down. So I kind of rushed through that. Okay, so we just have one more component of this card, and that is to add one of the greetings. Now, you can do an enamel greeting like this if you have a word die you want to use, and you could just pop that on there. But I'm going to use one of the greetings from the kit because I'm going to stay kit focused on this card. And I want to use one of the greetings from the Picture Perfect greeting set because these are little picture frames, so I think that's super cute. So on my other card I did Hope Your Birthday is Picture Perfect. Let's see, I think we could do You Make Me Smile. We could do, oh, You've Captured My Heart and put it over the heart. Let's do that one. Let's do that. That's cute. This way, one's a birthday card and one is just like could even be a Valentine's Day card. I could put this away. Tom, don't look too close. Maybe I'll just give this to you for Valentine's Day. Okay, so I'm going to use black ink for this. Black onyx.
Somebody said I'm on a roll today.
You are?
Yeah.
You are on a roll.
Do you know what you call it
Uh-oh.
when
You're challenging him.
when you're on a roll in the dead space?
What's that?
I'm on a droll. Droll is curious or unusual in a way that provokes dry amusement.
Oh, yeah, then you're definitely on a droll.
On a droll. Once again, I promise, back to the dead space.
We're having a hard time believing that. All right, so we're going to die cut this out with the coordinating die set. And then we'll take a close look at everything. And I'll bring back that first sample where I use a third word of the day, right? Where I used the polyglaze for the background, and you can see how that added a little bit of fun sparkle and shine. Oh, did I throw my Masking Magic strip away? I think I did, so I'll start a new one. Okay, let's get that lined up. I'll do one more right there. And we'll cut this out. So yeah, this set can be used for Valentine's cards. It can be used for anniversary cards. It can be used for Halloween. Just pop in a Halloween greeting. Of course, birthdays, which I learned, Tom, that birthdays are the second most popular card that card makers make. The first most popular one is Christmas. I did not know that, but I think what I learned is that even people that don't kind of identify as card makers or paper crafters, at Christmas, they get in the mood to do crafty things and they make Christmas cards. So that's kind of fun to know. And then birthday cards are the second most popular. So I'm going to put this right here. I might overlap it a little bit onto the heart. Let's see. I could put it there, or I could put it right in the center here. Like that.
That card just looks fun.
Isn't it fun?
Just looks like fun.
It's so cute. I love this kit so much. I'm going to get so much use out of this kit because these are the kinds of cards that you can send to anybody, right? You can send them to any adult on your list because they're just cute and fun. But also the kids, the grandkids, the nieces, the nephews, they're all going to love this style. You know, we have a little like grandniece-in-law, right? Little Viv. And she, I wouldn't send her a floral card, you know? It just seems too, like, mature, but she would love candy. So this will always be a fun set to have in your collection, this whole thing. And the picture frames are adorable. They're so fun. I'm going to put it right here so that it, like, it's in between. There we go. Okay. I don't think this card needs any embellishments at all. I think it's cute just the way it is. And that little bit of shine from the, there we go. You can see the shine on the white there. The little bit of shine on the bows and on the swirl and the heart kind of adds that little sparkle that we're looking for. But if you wanted to add a few little crystal clear sequins in there just to have a little bit of movement, you certainly could. Now, in the original card that I made, I had a lot of extra shine because I used the polyglaze sheets. This is the Birthday Sprinkles polyglaze sheets. So you can see it's the same design as the Birthday Sprinkles stamp set, but it was printed with polyglaze, and then I foiled over it with some twinkling pink foil there. And then I used sea glass for the card base on this one, and I used wild lilac for the card base on this one. So this one could definitely be an anniversary card. It could be just a card of love or a Valentine's Day card, and this one's definitely a birthday card. So there's two different little ideas there that you can make. I mean, the idea is very similar, but two different types of cards that you can make for different occasions out of this fun Sweet Celebrations card kit. Well, this was so much fun today, and I hope that you had fun, and I hope you got your card kit. If you didn't, you can find it at GinaKDesigns.com. That's our website. But don't go anywhere because we're going to give away a $15 gift card to one of the lucky commenters in the chat. So if you haven't left a comment yet, go ahead and do so now. It can even be just an emoji, but that enters you into the drawing. And if you like today's video, and we certainly hope that you have, and you like this tape technique, please give this video a thumbs up. That will help get it out to other people. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button and all notifications so you never miss another video. And then again, if you aren't part of our Facebook group, we'd love to have you over there. Our Facebook group is called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. Look for the group with 50,000 plus members. That is our real group. There's a couple knockoff ones out there, but they are not our group. Our group is filled with members sharing projects using our stamps, dies, stencils, and more. And you can get lots of inspiration from our designers over there. And our files section and guides are full of printables, charts, idea sheets, all kinds of things for you that you can print and save to use with your projects. And again, another shout out to Brianne Loveland. Brianne, thank you so much for all the help that you have done for us today. I hope you have a great weekend at Create. But if you missed any of Brianne's links and you're looking for anything I used today, you can find it all on our website at GinaKDesigns.com. All right, Tom, let's give away a gift card.
Okay, drummer please, here we go. Today's winner is Cards and Crafts Daily by Candace.
Yay! Congratulations, Candace. You are our winner All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we'll get that gift card emailed over to you. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful, safe, healthy, and crafty weekend. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night for another Stampin' Chat Live. And in the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.